Obinna was a man many envied. He had money, cars, and a mansion in the city that could intimidate even a chief. But one night, everything changed. He woke suddenly, sweating and gasping for breath. His room was dark, but at the foot of his bed, he saw her, Amaka. Her ghost because she was already dead. She was not as he remembered her. Her wrapper was torn, her hair scattered, and her belly was swollen as if she was about to give birth. Her face was pale, her eyes red and glowing like hot charcoal. She stood silently, watching him. Obinna froze, unable to breathe. Finally, she spoke. Her voice was low and heavy. Obinna, you promised me love. You gave me death. Obinna jumped out of bed and screamed, calling his guards. They rushed in with torches, searching the room. Who is here? Who entered? But they found nothing. To them, the room was empty. Only Obinna stood there, pointing to the corner, his whole body shaking. She was here, he whispered. I saw her. Adiz has returned. His guards exchanged worried glances. They had served him for years, but this was the first time they saw him so terrified. From that night, Obinna could not sleep again. The ghost had come, and deep down he knew why. Months before this, Obinna had arrived in a Manquo village out of nowhere. No one knew his father. No one knew his people. Yet, he was tall, handsome, and dressed like a city man. His pockets were always full. He quickly won the hearts of the villagers. He gave money to the poor, bought drinks for the young men at the palm wine bar, and even paid to repair the leaking roof of the church. The elders praised him, saying, "This is a true son of the land." But behind their praise was a quiet question no one asked out loud: who really is Obinna? Still, his charm blinded them. When he walked through the village, women admired his looks. Men respected him because of his wealth. He carried himself like someone who had everything under control. Nobody suspected that the wealth they admired came from darkness. It didn't take long before Obinna noticed Amaka, the orphan girl. She was known across the village for her beauty and humility. Many had admired her from afar, but poverty kept suitors away. Obinna changed everything. From the moment he saw her, he began to shower her with gifts. For Amaka, it felt like a dream. Little did she know, she was walking into a trap that would cost her life. Amaka's friends never trusted this wealthy stranger. They gathered one evening under the big Udala tree, whispering their concerns. "Amaka, we don't know this man," her closest friend Ngorzi said, her eyes sharp with worry. "He just appeared from nowhere. No family, no background. People like that carry secrets." But Amaka, blinded by his gifts, only smiled. "Ngorzi, you don't understand. Obinna is different. He treats me with respect. He wants a future with me." Another friend shook her head. "Respect? Or is it charm? Rich men don't throw money around without reason. You are too quick to trust." Amaka felt torn. She was an orphan who had struggled all her life. Losing her parents at a young age left her vulnerable, always searching for someone who would love and protect her. Obinna had stepped into her life at the perfect time, offering comfort she had never known. One evening, Obinna surprised her. He brought her to a quiet spot near the stream. He held her hand, looked into her eyes, and said softly, "Amaka, I want you to be my wife. I want to take care of you, give you everything you deserve." Her heart raced. For a moment, she remembered her friend's warnings. But then she thought about the lonely nights she had spent with no parents to guide her, no one to call family. She wanted stability. She wanted love. Without much hesitation, she said, "Yes." That single word sealed her fate. Her friends wept in secret, convinced she was walking into danger. But Amaka felt only excitement. She believed she had finally found happiness. What she didn't know was that Obinna's smile was a mask, hiding a darkness far deeper than she could ever imagine. The whole village gathered when Amaka announced her wedding. Some came to celebrate, others came out of curiosity, whispering about the mysterious man who had suddenly won the heart of their beautiful daughter. Obinna spared no expense. Goats were slaughtered, drinks flowed, musicians played all day. The villagers were dazzled by his wealth. People who once doubted him now said, "Maybe this man truly loves her. Look how he spends on our daughter." But Amaka's close friends stood aside, watching silently. Their eyes were heavy with worry. Ngorzi leaned close to another friend and muttered, "Money can blind people. This man is not what he seems. I can feel it." Amaka, dressed in a beautiful red and gold wrapper, walked proudly beside Obinna. Her smile was bright, and for once, she felt like she truly belonged. The crowd cheered as the couple exchanged vows. For Amaka, it was a dream come true. She had been an orphan with no family to stand by her, but now she believed she had finally found a home in Obinna. After the wedding, Obinna announced they would leave the village and move to the city. "My business is in the city," he explained. "That is where we will build our future." The villagers clapped and wished them well, but the older women exchanged worried glances. Leaving the safety of the village meant leaving everyone who could protect Amaka. Ngorzi pulled Amaka aside before they departed. Her voice shook as she said, "Please think twice. You don't know him. Don't go too far." But Amaka only hugged her friend and whispered, "Trust me. This is my destiny." The next morning, Obinna and Amaka left for the city, their new life beginning, and the trap quietly closing. The city was nothing like Amaka's quiet village. Tall buildings, noisy markets, cars rushing everywhere. At first, she was overwhelmed, but Obinna assured her she would get used to it. He rented a large apartment, fully furnished with expensive chairs, gold decorations, and a wide bed. To Amaka, it felt like she had stepped into another world. "Amaka," Obinna said one evening as he handed her a necklace, "you will never lack anything with me. Forget the struggles of your past. From today, you are a queen." Amaka blushed, her heart swelling. She thought she had finally found the life she had always prayed for. Every day, new gifts appeared, fine clothes, jewelry, food she had never tasted before. But with all the comfort came a strange emptiness. Obinna was kind but distant. He never talked about his family, never mentioned his past. When Amaka asked where he came from, he would smile and say, "What matters is where we are going, not where I have been." At first, Amaka ignored the red flags. She told herself it was normal. She was too grateful for the comfort he gave her. But at night, when Obinna thought she was asleep, she often heard him on the phone, speaking in hushed, urgent tones. Words like sacrifice, time is running out, and pregnancy slipped from his mouth. Her heart would beat fast, but by morning, Obinna acted normal, as if nothing happened. Months later, Amaka discovered she was pregnant. She was overjoyed. Tears filled her eyes as she told Obinna, "We are going to have a baby." Obinna hugged her tightly, smiling. But in his eyes, there was something dark, something Amaka didn't notice. For him, the pregnancy was not a blessing. It was the answer to a terrifying demand. At first, Amaka's pregnancy brought her nothing but joy. She would sit on the balcony, rubbing her belly, whispering dreams of the child she would soon hold. "You will never suffer like I did," she promised softly. "You will grow up with love, with everything I never had." Obinna played the role of a caring husband. He bought her more gifts, brought her fruits, and even hired a nurse to check on her. To anyone watching, he looked like the perfect husband. But behind his smile, something sinister was brewing. Late at night, Obinna would sneak out of the bedroom. Amaka, half asleep, sometimes heard him chanting strange words. She thought it was just her imagination, until one night she followed him quietly. From the corner of the living room, she saw him kneeling before a black wooden box, whispering to it like it was alive. Amaka froze in fear. She wanted to scream, but her voice refused to come out. She crept back to bed, convincing herself it was nothing. "Maybe I'm overthinking," she whispered to her unborn child. But deep inside, her heart was heavy. Meanwhile, Obinna's pressure was growing. His secret society had sent him a warning, his wealth was at risk. The only way to renew it was to sacrifice a pregnant woman. And now, fate had given him exactly what he needed, his own wife. Days turned into weeks, and Amaka noticed his behavior changing. He no longer touched her with warmth. His eyes lingered on her belly too long, as if he wasn't thinking of the child, but something else. Still, Amaka clung to hope. She believed love would protect her. She didn't know her greatest danger was sleeping right beside her. As Amaka's pregnancy grew, Obinna's mask began to slip. He became restless, pacing the house late at night, sweating even when the air was cool. He no longer looked at Amaka with love. Instead, His eyes carried a strange hunger that made her uneasy. One evening, Amaka found a bundle hidden in his wardrobe. When she opened it, her blood ran cold. Inside were red cloths, cowries, feathers, and a small clay pot filled with something that smelled rotten. She shut it quickly, her hands trembling. When Obinna walked in, she tried to act normal, but her voice shook as she asked, "Obinna, what is all this?" He smiled too quickly. "Old family traditions. Nothing for you to worry about." But Amaka wasn't convinced. That night, she prayed quietly for protection. For the first time, she felt real fear for her life. Meanwhile, in secret, Obinna was meeting with his cult members. In a hidden room lit by candles, the leader spoke in a harsh tone, "Your wealth is fading, Obinna. You know the law. The sacrifice must be a pregnant woman. You delay, you lose everything." Obinna lowered his head. "I understand. I will do it soon." His heart pounded, but his greed was stronger than his guilt. Amaka's pregnancy was the key to his power. Back at home, Amaka started noticing strange things. At night, she heard knocks on the window, even when no one was outside. Shadows moved across the walls though no one else was in the room. Her instinct screamed danger, but Obinna always dismissed her fears with a cold laugh. The house, once her safe place, now felt like a prison. And Amaka didn't know that her husband was already planning the day of her death. It was a stormy evening when Obinna decided it was time. Amaka was 8 months pregnant, her belly heavy, her steps slow. She trusted him completely, never suspecting that the man she called her husband had already marked her for death. That night, he prepared a special meal and told her, "Eat, my love. You need your strength." Amaka smiled, grateful, and ate without question. She didn't know the food was laced with herbs to weaken her body. By midnight, when she was barely able to move, Obinna carried her to the secret room he had prepared. The walls were covered in red cloth. Strange symbols were drawn on the floor. In the center stood a clay pot and a sharp knife. Amaka's eyes widened as fear took over. "Obinna, what is this? What are you doing to me?" Obinna avoided her gaze. His face was stiff, his hands trembling as he tied her wrists. "Forgive me, Amaka. I have no choice." She struggled weakly, her voice breaking. "No choice? I loved you. I trusted you." Tears rolled down her face as she begged for her life, but Obinna hardened his heart. The chants of the cult echoed in his head, "A pregnant woman must fall, or your riches will fall." With one final hesitation, he raised the knife. A single scream tore through the air, but no one heard it in the noisy city. The next morning, Amaka was gone. Her lifeless body was quietly taken back to the village. The people were told she died suddenly from an illness. Her friends wept bitterly, their warnings echoing in their minds. But that was not the end of Amaka's story. Death was only the beginning. After Amaka's burial in the village, life seemed to return to normal for everyone, except Obinna. He returned to the city, richer than ever. New cars, new houses, more money flowing into his accounts. To outsiders, he looked untouchable. But inside, his nights became torture. It started with whispers. At first faint, like a woman calling his name in the dark. "Obinna, Obinna," he would jolt awake, sweating, the room empty. He told himself it was just his mind. But then the dreams began. He saw Amaka, dressed in the same wrapper she wore on their wedding day, her belly still round with pregnancy. Her eyes were hollow, her face pale. In the dream she stretched out her hands and whispered, "Why did you betray me?" Obinna would wake screaming, but the nightmare never left. Soon, shadows moved across his walls at night. Doors banged shut on their own. The smell of blood filled his house, no matter how many times he cleaned. One evening, as he sat drinking to calm his nerves, the lights went out. The room grew icy cold. When he looked up, Amaka was standing at the corner, her face twisted, her belly torn, her eyes burning with rage. Obinna dropped his glass, falling to the floor. "No, no, it can't be you. You're dead." The ghost stepped closer, her voice echoing from everywhere at once. "You killed me, Obinna. You used my love against me. You took my life and my child. Now, I will take everything from you." From that night on, Obinna knew there was no escape. No wealth, no power, No ritual could protect him from the spirit of the woman he betrayed. His end had already begun. Obinna's life crumbled piece by piece. The ghost of Amaka followed him everywhere. In his office, he would see her reflection in the window. On the road, he heard her voice in the wind. At night, she sat at the edge of his bed, staring silently until he screamed himself awake. He stopped eating, stopped sleeping. His body grew thin, his eyes bloodshot. His workers abandoned him, saying their boss had run mad. The same villagers who once praised his wealth now whispered about his downfall. Desperate, Obinna returned to the cult, begging for help. "She won't leave me. She follows me every night," he cried. But the leader shook his head. "A betrayed soul cannot be silenced. You sacrificed love, Obinna. Now love has turned against you." Obinna wept, clutching his head. "What do I do? Please tell me." The leader gave no answer. Haunted and broken, Obinna finally confessed his crime. He gathered the villagers and shouted, "I killed Amaka. I used her for wealth. I destroyed her and my own child." The crowd gasped in horror. Mothers shielded their daughters, men cursed him, and Amaka's friends wailed bitterly. That night, he stumbled home, drunk and defeated. But when he opened the door, the room was filled with cold air. There she was, Amaka. Her ghost rose slowly from the shadows, her belly still swollen, her eyes burning red. "Obinna," she whispered, her voice like thunder. "Now it is your turn." He screamed and tried to run, but the doors slammed shut. His wealth disappeared overnight, his houses crumbled, his cars vanished. By morning, Obinna was found lifeless in his home, his face twisted in terror. The villagers said it was Amaka's ghost that claimed him. Her revenge was complete.